Mishnah Yud. Kera'o. After you took off the skin, you had to cut the animal. לאחר שהפשיט את עורו של קורבן הפסח, קרע אותו וניקה את קרביו. You have to take all the insides, all the guts. You have to take out. והוציא אימוריו. You also have to take the fat, because the fat goes on the altar. All the fat that has to go on the altar. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where there's a couple of places. There's the fat from the back, the aliyah is the, yeah, there's also other fats that you have to give in the altar. Yeah, when we're going to get to korbanot, we're going to get a whole picture of where it is. והוציא אימוריו את החלבים הקרבים על גבי המזבח. You would take all the fats that you would put on the altar. נתנו במגיס. And you put all those things in a מגיס. What's a מגיס? נתן את האימורים בקערה. You put all the fat in a special bowl. There was a special bowl that you would throw all the fat inside. והקטירן על גבי המזבח. And then you take all this fat and you burn it on the altar. כלומר, והכהן הקטירן על גבי המזבח. The Kohen will take them and they put them on the altar. ברם, but הפשט וניתוח כשרים גם בזר. The taking off of the skin and the cutting, the butchering of the animal, you don't have, the Kohanim didn't have to do it. Like I said, practically they probably did it. Yeah. Yeah. But it's also kosher in a non-Kohen, במי שאינו כהן. ומן הסתם, כל שאפשר לעשות בזרים היה נעשה בהם. And it looks like on Pesach, on a regular day, you didn't need to use them. But on Pesach, there was no time. You running, shechting thing. So on the regular day, you tell the guy, here, do your own wood. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. What we need to do, the Kohen says, we'll do. What you can do, you do. Yeah. מפני רוב תרדת הכהנים, because it says, look, this is Pesach, we don't have time for this nonsense. Not nonsense, God forbid, but we don't have time for this. You guys do your part and we do our part. יצתה כת ראשונה. Oh, so now comes a problem. Everything we said now is on a regular day, on a Monday, on a Tuesday. What happens if Pesach itself is on a Shabbos? So we already learned that Pesach pushes away Shabbos. But the problem is, if Pesach is on Shabbos, yeah, so you slaughter the animal, everything is done correctly, you slaughter the whole thing, but now you have a problem, how are you going to eat it? So it says, not only how are you going to eat it, you have to take it home to eat it. You can't take it home. You can't go out. You can't go out of the temple. There's a wall around the temple. It's a Shuta Yachid. Cannot go out. What do you do? So it says like this. So we already learned, by the way, that the Pesach was sacrificed in 3 groups. That you would use 3 groups to sacrifice the Pesach sacrifice. So it says, יצתה כת ראשונה וישבה לה בהר הבית. The first group goes out and it sits in the temple ground. Why is it sitting there? המדובר כאן בערב פסח שחל להיות בשבת. We're talking about when the י"ד of Nisan, the 14th of Nisan, happens to be on Shabbat. שכן בחול היו מלכים את פסחיהם לבתיהם שבירושלים. Because if it was a weekday, they would take their Pesach sacrifice home and they would cook it. Roast it, not cook it. אבל אם חל 14 בניסן להיות בשבת, but if it happened to be on Shabbat, לא היו יכולים להוליכם לבתיהם עד שחשיכה. They couldn't walk with it to their houses until it was dark. ולכן נקבעו מקומות לכל כת וכת שישעו שם עד מועצי שבת. So therefore they were stuck in the temple ground until Shabbat is over.
למה they couldn't take it out? They didn't have Erev. Oh, it's holy. They didn't have Erev in Yerushalayim, in the Chomot. Why couldn't they take it to the house? I don't understand.
Good question.
Those people that didn't live in Yerushalayim, to go out, I can understand.
No, you're not allowed. You have
but
to.
You're not allowed.
You have to eat the Pesach sacrifice in Yerushalayim.
All Chomot Harim Saviv La. Why wouldn't you take it? Okay.
Good question. A good question. Maybe we're talking about at the time when the Chumot was prutzot. You know, after the Romans destroyed the walls, and it was considered prutzot. I don't know. Good question. Kat Rishona. So עד שחשכה, so until dark. Maybe they didn't have an eruv, maybe it's the time that they were not allowed to make an eruv. I don't know. ולכן נקבעו מקומות לכל כת וכת ישן במוצאי שבת. So there were some places for every group to be there until Shabbat. כת ראשונה יצאת מן העזרה. So the first one went to the עזרה עם פסחיה וישבה בהר הבית with the Pesach sacrifice and they sat in on הר הבית. שנית בחיל, the second one was in the chayil. So the chayil is a fence. If you, the Temple Mount, you have the Beit HaMikdash itself, the structure of the Beit HaMikdash with the Azara, and then there's steps coming down, 12 steps coming down, and then you have a fence around. If you remember, there were 13 breaches in this fence to symbolize the breaches that the people put, the Babylonians put in the wall. So this is called the chayil, that fence. A memorial fence, let's call it. This is a chayil. Kat shniya yatz'a v'yashva b'chayil. The second group went out and they sat in the chayil. Ben ha'mechitza kriya soreg u'ben chumat ha'azara shel nashim. This is between the soreg and the azara, the courtyard. V'ashlishit b'mekuma omedet. And the shlishit stayed in the azara, where they shechted it. Ba'azara yesh medaykim b'mishnatenu. There are those who says in a Mishnah, שני הכיתות הראשונות ישבו ואילו הכת השלישית במקומה עומדת. It says the first two can go out and sit. The third one had to stand because you're not allowed to sit in the temple except the king. The only one who's allowed to sit in temple ground is the king. So the first two have to go out and they can sit, but the last one has to be standing in the Azara. שאין ישיבה בעזרה אלא למלכי בית דוד בלבד. The only one who can sit in the Azara is not any king, by the way, it's only a king from the dynasty of King David. חשכה, מוצאי שבת, once Shabbat is over, יצאו לבתיהם שבירושלים. Only then they're allowed to leave to their houses that are in Jerusalem. וצלו את פסחיהם, and then they roast their Pesach sacrifice. שאין צליית הפסח דוחה את השבת. That the slaughtering of the Pesach sacrifice, that pushes away Shabbos. But the roasting for the next day, because since you're allowed also to roast on a Yom Tov, then you're not supposed to do it on Shabbat itself. Like we're going to learn in the next chapter. Beram, כשחל ערב פסח בחול, but when ערב Pesach happens to be on a Monday, מיד לאחר ההקרבה, היו יוצאים וצולים את פסחיהם. Immediately after the slaughtering, you would go out and you would bring your Pesach. You'll be able to bring your Pesach. And why you're not allowed to go out, I'm not quite sure. It's a good question. Let's do one more. Maybe we're going to get some answers over here.
They didn't even eat it.
They can't eat it.
So what are they doing? They sit with Korban and Pesach there and they're finding a place to sleep at night?
Not asleep. Once it becomes night, they're going home to eat it. They're only there for an hour and a half. They're only there for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most. Look, it's Shabbos afternoon, right? When do you bring the Pesach sacrifice? On Shabbos afternoon. Okay. Let's say it's 4 o'clock, in the afternoon. At 6 o'clock, Shabbos is over. So at 6 o'clock, they will take it home, they will roast it, and they will have Pesach Seder. No, they daven mincha before. They daven mincha before. They ought to.
They do Musaf after the Musaf. They have to do Shabbos Musaf after the Shabbos Musaf.
After mincha. After mincha. Forget after Musaf. Musaf is before mincha.
Okay, after mincha.
After mincha, they would bring the mincha sacrifice. Okay, then they would bring the Pesach sacrifice, and then they would go home afterwards.
So they have from probably.
It's like 2 hours.
1:30. No. 1 hour.
Yeah, it won't be
the same. 12:30.
At that, the
Shabbos, what we said, 1 hour later, or it was the
no,
same?
at Shabbos you don't need to. 7:30, I think we said. 6:30. 6:30. It's only erev Shabbos, because you don't have enough time. When it's Friday, you would do it at 6.5 hours. When it was Friday, in a regular thing, it will be in a regular day. It will be 8.5 hours the mincha. But on Shabbos it'll be 7.5.
7. So you got, let's say, from 1:30, probably Shabbos end in Yerushalayim.
6.
Around 7:30, who knows?
Not maybe.
In April. Nisan.
Yeah. So
So they have like 6 hours.
you don't have to have the 6 hours. It depends when you bring the sacrifice.
Right.
You could have brought the sacrifice at 4 or 5.
How can you do so many people? Can you imagine how many people? This you're talking here, what? 60 people is a cut. Each cut is 60 people.
Maybe more.
But that's what we learn.
Yeah, but you have everybody
You
was
can't
there.
put more than 60. Or you can.
You can be infinite. It has to be
Each
at least
cut?
30.
Oh, the minimum 30.
Yeah, it has to be a minimum 30 because it says Kehal Adat Israel. Each one is 10.
Okay.
10 Kehal, 10 Adat, 10 Israel. Yeah.
Okay.